The blood at the corner of her mouth was barely visible, just a thin, dark line that most people wouldn't notice. But Dante Kim noticed everything, especially when it came to the woman who'd been haunting his thoughts for the past 8 months. Sienna Carter stood in the doorway of his penthouse, cleaning supplies clutched against her chest like a shield, trying to angle her face away from the afternoon light streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. She'd covered most of it with makeup, the wrong shade, too light for her deep brown skin, but foundation couldn't hide the swelling along her jaw or the way she held herself like breathing hurt. "Good afternoon, Mr. Kim." Her voice was steady, professional, the same voice she'd used every Tuesday and Friday for 8 months. "I didn't expect you home early." Dante set down his phone. He was supposed to be in a meeting in Koreatown right now, finalizing a deal that would expand his restaurant empire into 3 more properties. Instead, he'd left his second-in-command to handle it because something had felt wrong all morning. An instinct he'd learned to trust during 15 years of building power in Los Angeles' underworld. Now he knew why. "What happened to your face?" He crossed the marble floor in 4 strides, each step measured despite the rage building in his chest. Sienna stepped back. That small movement, that instinctive retreat from his approach, ignited something in him that had nothing to do with business or territory or control. Something he hadn't felt since he was young and stupid enough to believe in protecting people. "Nothing, Mr. Kim. I'm fine." She turned toward the kitchen, already pulling out her cleaning supplies with practiced efficiency. "I'll start with the kitchen today if that's all right." "Look at me." It wasn't a request. Dante Kim didn't make requests. He made statements, gave orders, built empires on the backs of men who understood that his quiet voice was more dangerous than other men's shouts. Sienna's shoulders tensed, but she turned slowly, keeping her chin slightly down, her eyes focused somewhere around his collar rather than his face. Up close, the damage was worse. The split lip was recent, maybe hours old. The bruise along her jaw was darker, older, painted over with that wrong shade foundation, and on her neck, barely visible above the collar of her uniform shirt, were marks that made Dante's vision go red. Fingerprints. Someone had choked her. "Who did this?" His voice came out deadly calm, the same tone he used before ordering problems to disappear permanently. "Mr. Kim, please." Sienna's composure cracked. "I really need to work. I have 3 other houses today, and if I don't finish my route, the agency will—" "Fuck the agency." The words came out harsher than he intended. He forced himself to breathe, to step back, to give her space even though every instinct screamed to eliminate whoever had put their hands on her. "Sit down." "I can't sit down." Sienna's eyes finally met his, and what he saw there nearly broke him. Fear, yes, but not of him. Fear of losing this job, of consequences, of a world that had clearly taught her that speaking up only made things worse. She perched on the edge of his white leather sofa, wrong in every way, her discount uniform, her scuffed shoes, her damaged face in his pristine space, and somehow the most real thing in his carefully curated life. Dante moved to the bar cart, poured whiskey into 2 glasses even though it was barely 3 in the afternoon. He pressed one into her hands. "Drink." "Mr. Kim, I'm working." "You're not working. You're sitting in my home injured, and you're going to tell me what happened." He sat in the chair across from her, deliberately keeping distance between them. "And you're going to tell me the truth." Sienna stared at the glass in her hands. Her fingers trembled slightly, sending tiny ripples across the amber liquid. For a long moment, she didn't speak. Dante waited. Patience was a weapon he'd mastered years ago. "It was an accident," she finally said. "Try again." "Mr. Kim." "Dante, my name is Dante." He leaned forward. "And I know what accidents look like, Sienna. That's not an accident. Someone hurt you deliberately. Someone choked you." His jaw clenched. "Who?" Her eyes widened. "How did you know my name?" "You think I don't know the name of the woman who's been in my home twice a week for 8 months?" Something in his chest tightened. "You think I don't notice you?" The confession hung between them. Sienna's lips parted, and he watched her process what he'd just revealed, that he'd been paying attention, that she hadn't been invisible to him the way she clearly tried to be invisible to everyone. I notice everything about you, Dante continued, his voice low. I know you sing Aretha Franklin when you think no one's listening. I know you rearrange my books by color instead of author because you think it looks better. I know you open the kitchen window exactly 4 inches every time you clean because you figured out I like fresh air but hate when papers blow around. He paused. I know you have a daughter, Nia, 9 years old. I know you work 5 houses a day to afford an apartment in a neighborhood that scares you. And I know, his voice hardened, that someone put their hands on you and you're terrified. Sienna's hands shook harder. Whiskey sloshed over the rim of the glass, splashing onto her uniform pants. She set the glass down quickly, stood up. I should go. His name. Dante stood too. Give me his name and this ends today. You don't understand. I understand perfectly. He moved closer, slowly, telegraphing every movement so she wouldn't feel cornered. Someone thinks they can hurt you and get away with it. I'm telling you they can't. Not anymore. Why? Sienna's voice broke. Why do you even care? Don't. The word came out sharp. Don't say you're just anything. Don't. Minimize yourself in front of me. Tears welled in her eyes, but she blinked them back furiously. You don't know me, Mr. Kim. You don't know anything about my life or what I can and can't handle. Then tell me. Dante stopped just out of reach, his hands in his pockets to show he wasn't a threat. Tell me everything. Let me help. I don't need help. She grabbed her cleaning caddy. I need to do my job and go home to my daughter. Does he know where you live? The question landed like a blow. Sienna's face went pale under the wrong shade foundation. Does he know where Nia goes to school? Dante pressed, hating himself for the fear he saw blooming in her eyes, but needing her to understand the danger. Because men who choke women don't stop, Sienna. They escalate. And if he's threatened you, if he knows about your daughter, stop. Sienna's voice was barely a whisper. Please stop. I can protect you. Both of you. Dante pulled out his phone. 1 call and you'll have security. Real security. Not some restraining order that's just paper. Actual protection. From who? Sienna laughed, but it sounded broken. From you. Because you're Dante Kim. I've heard the stories. I know what you are. She met his eyes. You're not some nice businessman. You're dangerous. You're connected. And you're offering me protection like it's simple. But nothing about you is simple. Dante felt something shift in his chest. She'd done her research. She knew exactly who he was, or at least who people said he was, and she was still here, still arguing with him instead of running. That meant something. You're right, he said quietly. I'm dangerous. I'm connected. I've done things that would keep you up at night. He stepped closer. But I've never hurt someone who didn't deserve it. I've never touched a woman in anger. And I'm telling you right now, Sienna Carter, that whoever put their hands on you, whoever made you afraid, they've just become my problem to solve. I didn't ask you to solve anything. You didn't have to. His hand lifted toward her face, stopped, hovering. May I? Sienna stared at his outstretched hand like it was a live grenade. Dante waited, barely breathing, until finally, she gave the smallest nod. His fingers were gentle as they brushed along her jaw, tilting her face into the light. The bruise was worse than he'd thought, deep purple spreading into yellow-green at the edges, at least 4 days old, maybe 5. The split lip was fresher. This morning, probably. He hit you before, Dante said. Not a question. Sienna's eyes closed. It's complicated. It's not. His thumb ghosted over her cheekbone, careful to avoid the bruise. Someone is hurting you repeatedly. That's all I need to know. His name is Marcus, she whispered. Marcus Hill. He's Nia's father. He left when I was pregnant, came back 6 months ago wanting to try again for Nia's sake. Her voice turned bitter. Turns out he just wanted somewhere. To crash between jobs, and when I told him he needed to leave, when I said I deserved better, she pulled away from Dante's touch. He didn't take it well. Where is he now? I don't know. He left this morning after... She gestured vaguely at her face. After this. Said he needed to cool off. Said it was my fault for pushing his buttons. Dante's phone was out before she finished speaking. He typed rapidly in Korean, sent the message, then made a call. The conversation was brief, entirely in Korean, his tone flat and businesslike. "What are you doing?" Sienna demanded, making sure Marcus Hill understands his mistake. Dante pocketed his phone. "By tonight, he'll know that touching you again means dealing with me. By tomorrow, he'll have left Los Angeles. By the end of the week, he'll have forgotten you exist. You can't just—" "I already did." He moved to the kitchen, pulled out a first aid kit from under the sink. "Now sit. Let me clean that lip properly before it gets infected." Sienna stood frozen in his living room, cleaning caddy still clutched against her chest, staring at him like he'd grown a second head. "This is insane. You're insane." "Probably." Dante set the first aid kit on the counter. "But you're still bleeding, and you're still in my home, and I'm still going to take care of you. So sit." For a long moment they stared at each other. The afternoon light painted gold across her face, highlighting the damage someone else had done, making Dante's rage burn hotter. But underneath the rage was something else, something that had been building for 8 months of watching her move through his space, listening to her sing, noticing the small ways she made his sterile penthouse feel less like a showroom and more like a home. "Please," he added softer, "let me help you." Sienna's resistance crumbled. She set down her cleaning caddy and walked slowly to the kitchen island, climbing onto a bar stool with visible reluctance. Dante washed his hands, then opened the first aid kit. "This might sting," he warned, dampening gauze with antiseptic. "I can do it myself." "I know you can." His eyes met hers. "But you don't have to. Not anymore." He cleaned the split lip with careful precision, years of steady hands serving him well. Sienna winced but didn't pull away. Up close he could see more details. The exhaustion in her eyes, the tension in her shoulders, the way she held herself like someone expecting another blow. "How long?" he asked quietly. "How long has he been hurting you?" 2 months, maybe 3. Sienna's voice was barely audible. It started small, pushing, grabbing too hard, then it got worse. "And you stayed because of Nia." "I stayed because leaving is expensive, and he threatened to file for custody if I kicked him out. Said no judge would give a kid to a mother who works cleaning houses while he has a stable job in construction." She laughed bitterly. "His stable job is 3 days a week when he feels like showing up." Dante applied antibiotic ointment with gentle precision. "That threat ends today. I have lawyers who eat custody cases for breakfast. If Marcus even thinks about going near a courthouse, he'll discover exactly how expensive his life can become." "Why?" Sienna grabbed his wrist, stopping his ministrations. "Why are you doing this? You don't know me." "Not really." Dante looked at her hand on his wrist, then into her eyes. 8 months ago, you walked into my home for the first time. You were nervous, kept apologizing for everything. For moving furniture to clean underneath, for taking too long in the bathroom, for existing in my space, and then I heard you singing." He smiled slightly. "Aretha Franklin, a natural woman. You have the most beautiful voice I've ever heard." Sienna's grip loosened. "You were here that day? I thought—" "I was in my office. I heard everything." He resumed cleaning her lip. "The next week, you brought flowers. Cheap grocery store flowers, but you arranged them in that vase in the kitchen like they were worth $1,000, and I realized something." He set down the gauze, met her eyes. "You bring life into spaces. You make dead places feel alive. This penthouse was just an investment property before you. Now it's the only place I want to be on Tuesdays and Fridays." "Mr. Kim—" "Dante, please." "Dante." His name on her lips sent electricity through him. "This can't happen. Whatever this is," she gestured between them, "it can't work. You're you, and I'm the woman I've been half in love with for 8 months." The confession escaped before he could stop it. "The woman who makes me want to be someone better than who I am? The woman I think about constantly even though I know I shouldn't?" Sienna's eyes went wide. "You can't say things like that." "Why not? It's true." Dante stepped back, giving her space. "I know this is fast. I know I'm coming on too strong. But Sienna, seeing you hurt today—" His jaw clenched. "It made me realize I can't keep pretending you're just someone who cleans my home. You're more than that. You've always been more than that. I need to think. Sienna slid off the bar stool. This is too much. I understand. Dante pulled a card from his wallet, wrote something on the back. This is my personal number, not the business line. Call me anytime, day or night. If Marcus comes back, if you feel unsafe, if you just need to talk, call me. Sienna took the card with trembling fingers. What if I don't call? Then I'll respect that. Dante forced himself to say the words even though they tasted like ash. But I'll still make sure Marcus understands you're under my protection. Whether you want it or not, whether you call me or not, he won't touch you again. She stared at the card, then at him. You're really serious about this. Deadly serious. This is insane, she repeated, but there was less conviction this time. Probably, Dante agreed, but sometimes insane is exactly what we need. Sienna grabbed her cleaning caddy and headed for the elevator. At the doors she paused, looked back. For what it's worth, I notice you too. The way you drink coffee, black, 3 cups before noon. The way you listen to jazz at night, Miles Davis mostly. The way you stand at those windows looking at the city like you're Atlas, holding up the world. She smiled sadly. You're not as invisible as you think either, Dante Kim. The elevator doors closed before he could respond. Dante stood in his penthouse, surrounded by wealth and power and emptiness, and realized that Sienna Carter had just walked out with the most important part of him. His phone buzzed. A message in Korean from his head of security. Subject located. Instructions? Dante typed back, scare him. Don't touch him yet. Make sure he knows she's protected. Details to follow. He walked to the windows, looked out at Los Angeles sprawling beneath him like a kingdom he'd conquered through blood and calculation. Somewhere in that city was Sienna Carter, going to her next cleaning job with his card in her pocket and his protection surrounding her whether she knew it or not. And somewhere else in that city was Marcus Hill, who had approximately 12 hours before he discovered what happened to men who hurt women under Dante Kim's protection. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. Dante watched the city transform and made himself a promise. Sienna Carter would never feel invisible again, not if he had anything to say about it. Sienna didn't call. 3 days passed. 72 hours of Dante checking his phone every 15 minutes like a teenager, waiting for her name to appear on his screen. She didn't show up for her Friday cleaning shift either. The agency sent someone else, a middle-aged white woman who cleaned efficiently but left no trace of life behind. No flowers, no singing, no rearranged books. His penthouse felt like a mausoleum again. You're distracted, June Park said, setting down a folder of acquisition documents that needed signatures. Jun had been Dante's right hand for 12 years, which meant he'd earned the privilege of speaking bluntly. What's going on? Dante signed 3 documents without reading them. Nothing. Continue. The Koreatown deal closes next week. We need to discuss the Martinez situation. They're pushing back on territory lines. And there's a shipment coming in from Busan that needs your approval for distribution routes. June paused. But you're not listening to any of this. I'm listening. Dante signed another document. Martinez can have 5th Street if he backs off Olympic Boulevard. The Busan shipment goes through the usual channels. Anything else? June studied him with sharp eyes. Who is she? Excuse me. In 12 years, I've never seen you distracted. Not during the territory wars with the Sinaloa crew. Not when the feds were investigating our operations. Not even when your father died and you had to consolidate power overnight. June leaned forward. So whoever she is, she's either very dangerous or very important. Dante set down his pen. Both, probably. Does she know what you do? She knows enough. Dante stood, walked to the windows. The city glittered below, thousands of lives playing out in buildings he owned or controlled or had plans to acquire. She knows I'm dangerous. She's smart enough to be scared. But not smart enough to stay away? She is staying away. That's the problem. Dante's jaw tightened. I told her to call if she needed anything. She hasn't called. June was quiet for a moment. Is this the cleaning woman? Dante turned. How did you know? You started coming home early on Tuesdays and Fridays 3 months ago. You never come home early. June smiled slightly. I figured it was either a woman or you were dying. You look too healthy to be dying. I need you to find out if she's okay. The words came out rougher than intended. Discreetly, just make sure she's safe. Already done. Jun pulled out his phone, scrolled through messages. Sienna Carter, age 32, lives in East LA with her daughter Nia Carter, age 9, works for Elite Home Services, currently covering 5 houses daily. No police reports filed in the last week, no hospital visits. Her ex, Marcus Hill, left Los Angeles 2 days ago, drove to Phoenix, Arizona. Our contact there confirms he's staying with family, seems appropriately terrified about something. Dante's chest loosened. She's safe. Physically, yes. Financially? June shrugged. She missed 2 days of work. That's roughly $400 in lost income. Her rent is due in 5 days, and her bank account has $87 in it. How do you know her bank account balance? June gave him a look. Do you really want me to answer that? Dante returned to his desk, mind racing. Can we send her money? Anonymously? No. She'll know it's from you, and based on her psychological profile, independent, proud, used to handling everything alone, she'll reject it. Jun closed his folder. You want my advice? Do I have a choice? Give her a reason to see you that isn't charity. Make it transactional. These types need to feel like they've earned everything they have. Dante considered this. June was right. Sienna would never accept a handout, but maybe she'd accept a job, a real one. My mother's visiting from Seoul next week, Dante said slowly. She'll stay here for 2 weeks. She hates the usual housekeeping services, says they're too impersonal. What if I hired Sienna directly? Paid her triple her normal rate because my mother is, and I quote, difficult to please. June smiled. That could work. Your mother actually is difficult to please, so it's not even a lie. Set it up. Go through the agency if you have to, but make sure they send Sienna specifically. Tell them I'm requesting her based on her previous excellent work. And if she says no, Dante's expression hardened, she won't. She needs the money too badly. After June left, Dante sat in his office staring at acquisition reports he couldn't focus on. He was playing a dangerous game. Sienna had walked away 3 days ago, and the smart thing would be to let her go. Let her disappear back into her life of invisibility and 5 cleaning jobs a day. But Dante Kim hadn't built an empire by being smart. He'd built it by being ruthless, by taking what he wanted and eliminating obstacles, by refusing to accept defeat. The difference was that Sienna Carter wasn't territory to conquer or an asset to acquire. She was a woman who'd been hurt too many times by men who took without asking, which meant Dante needed to be patient, strategic. He needed to give her reasons to trust him instead of forcing his protection on her, even if patience was killing him. His phone rang. Unknown number. Yes? Mr. Kim? The voice was young, uncertain. This is Nia Carter. Dante sat up straight. Nia, is your mother okay? A pause. She's crying again. She's been crying a lot since Friday. She won't tell me why, but I heard her on the phone with her friend saying she can't work for you anymore because it's too complicated. Another pause. Did you hurt my mom? The question hit like a physical blow. No, I would never hurt your mother. Then why is she so sad? Dante closed his eyes. It's complicated, Nia. That's what adults always say when they don't want to explain things. The 9-year-old's voice turned fierce. My mom is the best person in the world. She works so hard, she never complains. And she was happy when she came home from your house on Tuesdays and Fridays. She'd sing more, smile more. Then everything changed, and now she's sad all the time again. Nia, I looked you up online. You own restaurants. You're rich. You could hire anyone to clean your house. Her voice dropped. So why do you care about my mom specifically? Out of the mouths of children came the most devastating questions. Dante leaned back in his chair, chose honesty. Because your mother is extraordinary. She's kind and strong and talented, and she deserves better than what life has given her. I want to help her, but she's too proud to accept help from me. Because you're rich and she thinks it's charity. Exactly. That's stupid. Nia said it matter-of-factly. If someone wants to help and they're nice about it, you should let them. That's what Mom always tells me when I'm being stubborn about accepting help with homework. Dante smiled despite himself. Your mother is very wise. So you should tell her that. Tell her it's not charity. Tell her... Nia's voice got muffled, like she was covering the phone, then clearer. I have to go. Mom's coming. But Mr. Kim, please don't give up on her. She needs someone who doesn't give up. The line went dead. Dante sat in his office, holding his phone, feeling like a 9-year-old had just seen through every defense he'd ever built. Sienna was crying, missing work, telling friends it was too complicated, which meant she felt something too. She wasn't indifferent. She was scared. That, at least, was something he could work with. His phone buzzed with a text from Jun. Agency confirmed. Sienna Carter will be at your penthouse Monday at 10 a.m. for the initial consultation about your mother's preferences. She's being paid $600 for the consultation alone. Dante typed back, perfect. Make sure my mother knows to be herself. Jun's response came immediately. She's going to terrorize that poor woman. That's the plan. If Sienna can handle my mother, she can handle anything. Monday morning arrived with typical Los Angeles sunshine and Dante's unusual nervousness. He'd faced down cartel lieutenants, negotiated with federal prosecutors, ordered actions that changed lives permanently. But the thought of seeing Sienna Carter again made his hands unsteady. His mother, Kim Sun-hee, sat in the living room wearing Chanel and Judgment. At 67, she was still beautiful, still commanding, and still convinced that her son's penthouse was a sterile disappointment. You said she's special, his mother said in Korean, the woman who cleans your home. I said she's different, Dante corrected, also in Korean. Different how? Is she pretty? Iyama, I'm asking if she's pretty. This is a simple question. His mother's eyes gleamed. You've been distracted for months. Jun tells me you come home early twice a week. Now you're hiring her to clean for me, specifically paying 3 times the normal rate, and you expect me to believe this is just about housekeeping? Can you please just... Dante switched to English. Can you please be nice to her? She's been through a lot recently. I'm always nice. You made the last housekeeper cry. She put my antique vase in the dishwasher. Tears were appropriate. His mother stood, adjusted her suit. Don't worry, Dante-ya. I'll behave. Probably. The elevator chimed. Dante's heart kicked into overdrive. Sienna Carter stepped out, and the world rearranged itself. She wore the same cleaning service uniform, but something was different. Her hair was pulled back in a neat bun. Her makeup was flawless, covering any remaining traces of bruising. She carried herself with careful professionalism, but her eyes, those beautiful dark eyes, couldn't hide the flash of emotion when they landed on Dante. Mr. Kim. Her voice was steady. Thank you for requesting me specifically. The agency said you have special requirements? My mother is visiting from Seoul. Dante gestured toward Kim Sun-hee. She'll be staying here for 2 weeks and has very particular preferences. I thought you'd be perfect for understanding her needs. Sienna turned to his mother, bowed slightly. Mrs. Kim, it's an honor to meet you. Kim Sun-hee's eyebrows rose. You bow. Not many Americans bow. My grandmother taught me that respect is universal. She believed in showing it properly. Sienna smiled, and Dante watched his mother's expression shift from skeptical to interested. Your grandmother was wise. What else did she teach you? That clean homes reflect clean hearts, that cooking with love makes food taste better, that music heals wounds words can't reach. Sienna's smile turned sad. She passed away 5 years ago, but I try to live by her wisdom. I'm sorry for your loss. His mother's voice softened. My own mother taught me similar things. She said a woman who keeps a home well can keep a life well. Your mother sounds like she would have gotten along with my grandmother. Sienna pulled out a notepad. Now, what are your preferences, Mrs. Kim? Products you like or dislike? Areas that need special attention? Specific schedules? For the next hour, Dante watched Sienna work. She took meticulous notes, asked thoughtful questions, listened with genuine interest as his mother explained her routine, her needs, her Korean preferences for organization and cleanliness. You have a daughter, his mother said suddenly. Nia, yes, 9 years old? Sienna's pen paused. Yes. How did you... Dante mentioned her. His mother waved dismissively. He tells me you're a single mother. That must be difficult. It has its challenges. Sienna's voice turned guarded. But Nia is worth every difficulty. Of course she is. His mother stood. I'm going to rest now. The flight from Seoul was exhausting. Dante, show her the guest room where I'll be staying so she knows what needs attention. It was a transparent excuse to leave them alone. Dante's mother swept toward the bedroom, leaving them in suddenly heavy silence. Your mother is lovely, Sienna said quietly. She likes you. That's rare. Dante moved closer. How are you? Really? I'm fine. Sienna, Marcus is gone. You're doing, I assume? She met his eyes. He texted me from Arizona, said he'd decided to reconnect with his family there, said he was sorry for everything and wouldn't bother me again. Very neat, very convenient. I told you I'd handle it. You did. She closed her notepad. Thank you, truly. Nia and I, we feel safe for the first time in months. Then why did you tell the agency you couldn't work for me anymore? Sienna's composure cracked. Because I can't be around you, Dante. Because when you look at me like I matter, I start believing it, and that's dangerous. Why is it dangerous to believe you matter? Because I'm a cleaning woman with an ex who beat me and a daughter I can barely afford to feed. Because you're... She gestured at the penthouse. You're this. Power and money and danger. We don't make sense. We make perfect sense. Dante closed the distance between them. You think I don't know what it's like to feel out of place? My whole life has been about not belonging. Too Korean for America. Too American for Korea. Too violent for legitimate business. Too ambitious for the underworld. He stopped inches from her. Then you walked into my life singing Aretha Franklin, and suddenly I belonged somewhere. Here. In these moments when you're close enough to touch. Dante, I'm not asking you to love me. Not yet. His hand lifted, hovering near her face. I'm asking you to let me know you, to have dinner with me and Nia, to give me a chance to prove that what I feel isn't about charity or pity or some rich man's fantasy. What is it about? You. Just you. His thumb brushed her cheek. The woman who brings flowers and sings soul songs, the mother who works 5 jobs for her daughter, the person who makes dead spaces feel alive. That's who I want. Not because you need saving, because I need you. Sienna's breath hitched. This is insane. You keep saying that. Because it keeps being true. But she didn't pull away from his touch. What happens when reality catches up? When you remember if you say you're just anything, I'm going to kiss you. The words escaped before Dante could stop them. And I don't think either of us is ready for that yet. Sienna's eyes went wide. You can't just say yes to dinner tomorrow night, my restaurant in Koreatown. Bring Nia. Let me show you that this, he gestured between them, isn't insane. It's the most sane thing in my entire life. I don't have anything to wear to a fancy restaurant. Come as you are. You're perfect as you are. Nia has school on Wednesday. We'll have her home by 8:30. Early dinner, I promise. Sienna stared at him, and Dante watched her walls crumble brick by brick. One dinner. One dinner, he agreed. And if it's terrible, if Nia hates you or I feel uncomfortable then I'll accept that and never push again. The lie tasted bitter, but he'd say whatever she needed to hear. But it won't be terrible, Sienna, I promise you that. She nodded slowly. Okay, one dinner. Tomorrow at 6, I'll send a car. We can take the bus. Sienna. His voice turned firm. Let me do this properly, please. Another nod. Then she was gathering her things, heading for the elevator, pausing at the doors. Dante? That thing you said about belonging? Yes, I felt it too, when I'm here, in your space. Her smile was fragile and real. It scared me. It terrifies me, he admitted. The elevator doors closed. Dante stood in his penthouse, hands shaking with adrenaline and hope, and realized he was completely, irrevocably lost to Sienna Carter. His mother emerged from the bedroom, smiling like a cat with cream. She's perfect for you. I know. Don't ruin it by being too much too fast. Women like her need patience. I know that, too. Dante looked at his mother. But what if I don't have time to be patient? Then you'll lose her. His mother patted his cheek. So make time, Dante. Make all the time in the world. He would. For Sienna Carter, he'd rewrite every rule he'd ever lived by, starting with tomorrow's dinner. The dress debate lasted 45 minutes. Sienna stood in her cramped bedroom surrounded by rejected options, while Nia sat cross-legged on the bed, playing fashion consultant with 9-year-old authority. Not that one. Too churchy. Nia pointed at a floral print dress. And not the black one either. You wear that to parent-teacher conferences. This is a date, Mama. It's not a date. It's dinner. Sienna held up a navy blue dress she'd worn to exactly 2 weddings. What about this? Boring. Nia hopped off the bed, disappeared into the closet, emerged with a burgundy wrap dress Sienna had forgotten she owned. This one. Auntie Maya bought it for you last year, and you never wore it because you said you had nowhere fancy to go. Sienna took the dress, ran her fingers over the soft fabric. Maya had insisted she needed something that made her feel beautiful, not just presentable. At the time, it had seemed wasteful. Now, looking at the rich color and elegant cut, she wondered if Maya had somehow known this moment would come. Fine, the burgundy one. Sienna checked her phone. 5:15. The car will be here in 30 minutes. Are you ready? Nia wore her favorite yellow dress, another hand-me-down that Sienna had altered to fit perfectly, and bounced with excitement. I've been ready for an hour. You're the one trying on every outfit you own. When did you get so bossy? I learned from the best. Nia grinned, then her expression turned serious. Mama, are you scared? Sienna sat on the bed, pulled her daughter close. A little. Are you? No, Mr. Kim seems nice, and he made Marcus go away, which makes him basically a superhero in my book. Nia leaned against her shoulder. But if he's mean to you even once, I'll kick him in the shins. You will not kick anyone in the shins. Fine. I'll give him a very disappointed look. Those work on my teachers. Sienna laughed, kissed the top of Nia's head. What would I do without you? Be very bored and have nobody to help pick out dresses. Nia pulled away. Now go get ready. Your hair needs work. At 5:45, a sleek black Mercedes pulled up outside their apartment building. The driver was Korean, middle-aged and professional. He opened the door without comment, and Sienna tried not to feel self-conscious about the neighbors watching through windows as she and Nia climbed into luxury that smelled like leather and money. Mr. Kim is waiting at the restaurant, the driver said in accented English. It's about 20 minutes from here. Please, help yourself to water or snacks. Nia's eyes went wide at the bottles of fancy water and the small containers of what looked like expensive chocolates. Can I have one? One chocolate, Sienna agreed, her own nerves making her stomach too tight for food. The drive through Los Angeles was quiet. Sienna watched the city transform from their working-class neighborhood to increasingly upscale areas, culminating in Koreatown's vibrant center where Dante's restaurant occupied a corner that screamed understated wealth. No neon signs, no flashy advertising, just elegant Korean characters on dark wood and a valet station where the Mercedes was immediately attended to. Ms. Carter, please follow me. A hostess in a traditional hanbok appeared the moment they exited the car. Sajangnim is waiting. They were led through the main dining room, all dark wood, soft lighting and wealthy patrons speaking in hushed tones, to a private room in the back. The door slid open, and Sienna's breath caught. Dante stood when they entered, and if she'd thought he was devastating in business casual, seeing him in dark slacks and a crisp white shirt with the sleeves rolled to his forearms made her forget how to form words. He'd styled his hair differently, softer, and when he smiled at them both, something in Sienna's chest cracked open. Sienna, you look incredible. His eyes tracked over her with open appreciation. And Nia, yellow is definitely your color. Nia beamed. Thank you. Mama tried on like 100 dresses before picking that one. Nia? What? You did. Nia looked around the private room with its low table, cushioned seating and art that probably cost more than Sienna's annual salary. This is really fancy, Mr. Kim. Dante, please. Mr. Kim makes me feel old. He gestured to the seating. I hope Korean barbecue is okay. I thought it might be fun to cook some of the food ourselves, more interactive. For the next 2 hours, Sienna forgot about being nervous. Dante was patient teaching Nia how to grill meat properly, laughing when she insisted on flipping everything too early. He told stories about growing up in Seoul, about his grandmother who'd taught him to cook, about moving to Los Angeles at 15 and feeling caught between two worlds. "Did other kids make fun of your accent?" Nia asked around a mouthful of perfectly grilled beef. "Constantly. I got into a lot of fights my first year." Dante's expression turned rueful. "My mother was not pleased. She said violence was the refuge of people with nothing intelligent to say." "Is that why you don't fight anymore?" Nia asked innocently. Sienna choked on her water. Dante's eyes met hers, and something dangerous flashed there before he smiled at Nia. "I learned that there are better ways to handle problems, smarter ways." He refilled Sienna's water glass. "But I still believe in protecting people who matter. That's never changed." "Like you protected Mama from Marcus?" The room went very quiet. Sienna's heart hammered. "Nia, it's okay." Dante's voice was gentle. "Yes, Nia, like I protected your mother, because nobody should hurt people they're supposed to care about." "Good." Nia nodded seriously. "Because my mama is the best person in the world, and if Marcus ever comes back, I want him to know you'll stop him again." "He won't come back." Dante's voice turned to steel. "But if he did, yes, I'd stop him." Nia seemed satisfied with this answer and returned to her food. Sienna met Dante's eyes across the table, saw the fierce protectiveness there mixed with something softer, something that looked like hope. After dinner, Dante suggested dessert at a nearby bingsu place. Nia's excitement was contagious, and soon they were walking through Koreatown's evening crowds, Nia between them, chattering nonstop about school and friends and her favorite books. "She reads constantly," Sienna said as Nia raced ahead to look at a shop window. "Sometimes I have to hide books just to make her sleep." "You should encourage it. Intelligence is the best gift you can give a child." Dante's hand brushed against Sienna's, casual but deliberate. "My mother used to hide my books, too, said I needed to play outside more, make friends. I told her books were my friends." "Were you lonely?" "Always." The admission was quiet. "Even now I'm surrounded by people, employees, associates, family, but loneliness isn't about being alone. It's about not being truly seen." Sienna stopped walking. They stood in the middle of a busy Koreatown sidewalk while people flowed around them, and all she could see was Dante. The way streetlights caught his sharp features, the vulnerability in his eyes that he only showed in unguarded moments. "I see you," she whispered. "I know." His hand found hers properly this time, fingers interlacing. "That's what terrifies me." Nia came running back with a flyer for a bookstore event. "Mama, can we go? It's a reading next week, and—" She stopped, noticed their joined hands, and grinned like she'd won the lottery. "Are you guys holding hands?" "Yes," Dante said simply. "Cool. Can we get bingsu now? I'm still hungry." The bingsu place was small and crowded, and perfect. They shared a massive bowl of shaved ice topped with fruit and condensed milk while Nia regaled Dante with increasingly elaborate stories from school. He listened with genuine attention, asked follow-up questions, and remembered details that even Sienna sometimes forgot in the chaos of daily survival. "You're good with her," Sienna said quietly while Nia was distracted by her phone. "She's easy to be good with. She's smart, funny, honest." Dante's eyes held hers, like her mother. If you say you're not special, I'm going to kiss you right here in front of everyone and your daughter." Sienna's breath caught. "You keep threatening to kiss me. Because you keep underestimating yourself." His thumb stroked over her knuckles. "Eventually, you're going to believe me when I say you're extraordinary. And when you do, I'm going to kiss you properly. Not as a threat, as a promise." "Mama, Mr. Kim, Dante, can we do this again?" Nia looked up from her phone. "This was the best night ever." "That depends on your mother." Dante's eyes never left Sienna's face. "What do you say? Can we do this again?" Sienna looked at her daughter's hopeful expression, at Dante's careful vulnerability, at the life she'd built brick by brick through sacrifice and fear. She thought about her grandmother's wisdom, that sometimes the bravest thing was accepting help, accepting love, accepting that maybe she deserved more than just survival. "Yes," she whispered, "we can do this again." Nia cheered. Dante smiled like she'd given him the world, and Sienna let herself imagine, just for a moment, that this could actually work. The drive home was quieter. Nia fell asleep against Sienna's shoulder, exhausted from excitement and too much sugar. Dante had insisted on riding with them, and now they sat in the back of the Mercedes while the city lights painted patterns across their faces. "Thank you," Sienna said softly, "for tonight, for making Nia so happy, for—" she paused, "for seeing us. Thank you for letting me." Dante's hand found hers again. "I know this is scary. I know I'm asking you to trust someone from a world that's hurt you. But Sienna, I swear on everything I am, I will never hurt you. I will never be like Marcus. I will spend every day proving that you're safe with me. I believe you." The words surprised her, but they were true. "I don't know why, but I do. Because you're smart. You read people. You know I'm serious." His voice dropped. "You know I'm falling for you." "Dante, you don't have to say it back. I'm not asking for that. I'm just—" He looked at sleeping Nia. "I'm telling you where I stand, so there's no confusion, no games. I want you in my life, Sienna. Both of you. However that looks, whatever pace you need, I'm here." The car stopped outside her apartment building. Dante helped transfer Nia carefully so she didn't wake, and Sienna found herself standing on the sidewalk with her sleeping daughter and this impossible man who looked at her like she was precious. "Will you come to the penthouse tomorrow?" Dante asked. "My mother genuinely loves you. She's already planning to have you teach her how you organize cleaning supplies so efficiently. I'm supposed to start regular shifts on Wednesday. Come tomorrow instead. Bring Nia after school if you want. My mother would love to meet her properly." His hand cupped her face, thumb brushing her cheek. "And I'd love to see you again, even if it's just for work." "This doesn't feel like work." "Good, because it's not really." He stepped closer, and Sienna could smell his cologne, something expensive and warm. "This is me courting you the only way I know how, with patience and persistence and probably too much intensity. The intensity is growing on me." The confession escaped before Sienna could stop it. Dante's smile was devastating. "Yeah? Don't let it go to your head. Too late." He pressed a kiss to her forehead, soft and reverent. "Go inside. Get some sleep. Dream about me." Confident. Hopeful. He stepped back. "Text me when you're safely inside?" Sienna nodded, shifted Nia's weight, and headed for her building. At the door, she looked back. Dante stood by the Mercedes, hands in his pockets, watching her with an expression that made her feel seen and wanted and terrifyingly hopeful. Inside the apartment, Sienna tucked Nia into bed and stood at her window watching the Mercedes drive away. Her phone buzzed with a text, "Already missing you. Sleep well, beautiful." She shouldn't respond, should maintain some distance, some self-preservation. Instead, she typed, "Thank you for tonight. Nia's already planning what to wear next time. Next time. I like the sound of that. Don't get used to it. I'm still scared. Be scared. I'll be patient. We'll figure this out together." Sienna set down her phone and touched her forehead where he'd kissed her. The spot still tingled. Her whole body felt alive in ways she'd forgotten were possible. This was dangerous. This was reckless. This was a man from a world she didn't understand, with power she couldn't comprehend, offering her things she'd stopped believing she deserved. But when she closed her eyes, all she could see was Dante's smile. All she could hear was his voice promising patience. All she could feel was the ghost of his hand in hers. Maybe dangerous was exactly what she needed. Maybe reckless was just another word for brave. Maybe, just maybe, this impossible man was her chance at something more than survival. Maybe he was her chance at actually living. Her phone buzzed again. One more thing. "Yes?" "You looked breathtaking tonight. That dress was perfect. But you're always beautiful to me, even in your cleaning uniform, even with wrong shade foundation covering bruises, even when you're scared and trying to be invisible. You're beautiful, Sienna. Don't ever forget that." Sienna read the message 3 times, tears burning her eyes. Nobody had ever spoken to her like this, like she mattered beyond her usefulness, like her existence itself was valuable. I don't know what to say to that. You don't have to say anything, just believe it. That's all I ask. She climbed into bed, phone clutched against her chest, and let herself believe. Let herself imagine a life where she wasn't constantly exhausted, where someone powerful chose to use that power to protect her instead of control her, where her daughter could grow up seeing her mother treated like she was precious. Let herself imagine Dante Kim in her life permanently, in her bed, in her future, in all the spaces she'd kept closed off because opening them hurt too much. Tomorrow, she'd probably panic. Tomorrow, reality would crash back in with all its complications and impossibilities. Tomorrow, she'd remember all the reasons this couldn't work. But tonight, lying in her narrow bed in her cramped apartment, Sienna Carter let herself believe in fairy tales, and in the man who was determined to prove they could come true. Reality crashed back in at 7:30 the next morning when Sienna's phone rang with a number she recognized from Elite Home Services. "Ms. Carter, this is Patricia from scheduling." The voice was clipped, professional. "We need to discuss your recent absences and the special arrangement with Mr. Kim." Sienna sat up in bed, already feeling the conversation going south. "I cleared the absences with my supervisor, and Mr. Kim requested me specifically for his mother's visit. Yes, at triple your normal rate, which violates our pricing structure. We have policies about individual contractors negotiating separate terms with clients." Patricia's tone turned sharp. "It creates complications. Other cleaners are asking why they can't get the same arrangement." "I didn't negotiate anything. Mr. Kim made the offer through the agency, which puts us in a difficult position. Either we allow all our cleaners to accept private arrangements at whatever rate clients offer, or we maintain our standard pricing structure." A pause. "We've decided to remove you from Mr. Kim's account entirely. We'll be assigning someone else to handle his mother's visit." Sienna's stomach dropped. "You can't do that. He requested me specifically. And we appreciate his business, but we have protocols. I'm sure you understand." Patricia's voice softened slightly. "You're still on the schedule for your other 4 houses. This doesn't affect those arrangements. But I'm sorry, Miss Carter. The decision is final. Have a good day." The line went dead. Sienna stared at her phone, feeling the $600 she'd been counting on evaporate. Rent was due in 3 days. She had $87 in her account. The other houses paid enough to cover utilities and food, but not rent. Not without the Kim account. She called Dante without thinking. He answered on the first ring. "Sienna, good morning." "The agency fired me from your account." The words tumbled out. "They said the special rate violated their policies. They're sending someone else for your mother." Silence. Then, "Give me 10 minutes. Dante, I don't think— 10 minutes. Don't worry." His voice turned to ice. "This will be handled." He hung up. Sienna sat in bed, torn between hope and dread. She needed the money desperately, but she also knew what handled meant in Dante's world. It meant phone calls in Korean. It meant pressure applied in ways she didn't want to understand. It meant being saved by someone whose power scared her as much as it attracted her. Her phone rang again. Patricia, sounding considerably less confident. "Miss Carter, I apologize. There's been a misunderstanding. Mr. Kim has actually purchased a controlling interest in Elite Home Services as of this morning. Apparently, the paperwork was already in process, and we weren't informed." Patricia's voice shook slightly. "He's requested that you be made an independent contractor with the freedom to negotiate your own rates with clients, while maintaining access to the agency's insurance and benefits. He's also insisting you be given first choice on all premium accounts." Sienna's heart hammered. "He bought the company?" "A majority stake, yes. The previous owners were apparently in financial difficulty, and Mr. Kim's offer was generous." Patricia cleared her throat. "So, you're cleared to work his account at whatever rate you've agreed upon. Will you be going to the penthouse today?" Yes, I'll be there." "Excellent. Welcome to the new Elite Home Services structure, Ms. Carter." The moment Patricia hung up, Sienna called Dante back. He answered immediately. "You bought the company?" Her voice came out somewhere between amazed and furious. "You bought an entire cleaning company?" "I bought a controlling stake in a financially struggling business that was treating its best employee unfairly. That's just good business." His voice was calm, reasonable. Also, the previous owners had terrible practices. Pay was too low, benefits were practically non-existent, and their scheduling system was archaic. I'm fixing all of that. Dante, you needed the job. They were taking it away for arbitrary reasons. I solved the problem. A pause. Are you angry? I don't know what I am. Sienna pressed her hand against her forehead. This is insane. You can't just buy companies because I lose a client. I can, actually. I do it fairly regularly. His voice softened. Sienna, I know this seems extreme, but that company needed new ownership regardless. You needing your job just accelerated my timeline. How much did it cost? That's not important. Dante, $2.3 million, but the company's actually worth more. The previous owners were desperate for liquidity, so I got a good deal. He said it like he was discussing buying groceries. And now you have job security, better benefits, and the freedom to build your own client base at fair rates. Win-win. Sienna sat on her bed, trying to process that Dante had just spent over $2 million to solve her $400 problem. This is too much. It's an investment. The company will be profitable within 18 months with proper management. A pause. And you're not just some employee anymore. You're the flagship example of the new model, skilled independent contractors with agency support. I'm planning to build an entire marketing campaign around the concept. You're using me for marketing? I'm using good business strategy that happens to benefit you. There's a difference. His voice turned gentle. Sienna, I know this feels overwhelming, but I promise you this isn't charity. This is me seeing an opportunity and taking it. The fact that it helps you is just what? Everything I want it to be. The raw honesty in his voice made her chest tight. Come to the penthouse. Meet my mother. Let me show you that this can work. I'll be there at 10. But Dante, we need to talk about boundaries. I know. We will, I promise. He hung up before she could respond. Sienna got Nia ready for school in a daze. Her daughter chattered about Dante the entire bus ride, asking when they could have dinner again, if Dante liked museums because her class was going next week, whether he might want to come to her school's spring concert. Baby, slow down. Dante's just... Sienna paused. He's just someone we're getting to know. He bought you flowers yesterday. They came while you were in the shower. Nia grinned. They're really pretty. Purple ones. He sent flowers? With a note that said, for the woman who brings flowers to dead spaces. I read it because it was just sitting there on the kitchen counter. Nia's expression turned serious. Mama, he really likes you. I know, baby. Do you like him back? Sienna looked at her daughter's hopeful face and chose honesty. Yeah, I really do, but it's complicated. Because he's rich? Because he's from a different world? Because things are moving fast? Because... She stopped. Because I'm scared of getting hurt again. Nia squeezed her hand. Dante's not like Marcus. Even I can tell that. How can you tell? Because Dante listens. Marcus never listened to anything except himself. Nia said it matter-of-factly, and Sienna's heart broke a little. And Dante looks at you like you're important, like you matter. Marcus looked at you like you were in his way. Out of the mouths of children, Sienna kissed her daughter's forehead at the school entrance. When did you get so wise? I've always been wise. You just notice more now. Nia hugged her tight. Have fun with Dante's mom. And Mama, it's okay to be happy. You deserve it. The penthouse was different in morning light, softer somehow, more welcoming. Kim Sun-hee answered the door herself, dressed impeccably in cream slacks and a silk blouse, her silver hair perfectly styled. Sienna, come in, she gestured warmly. Dante left for meetings but said you'd be coming. He left instructions that I'm to make you comfortable and absolutely not interrogate you about your intentions toward my son. Sienna couldn't help smiling. I'm guessing you're going to interrogate me anyway? Of course. Tea first, though. Civilized interrogation requires tea. Sun-hee led her to the kitchen, where an elaborate tea service was already prepared. Sit. Tell me how dinner went last night. For the next hour, Sienna found herself opening up to this elegant woman who listened with sharp intelligence and asked questions that cut right to the heart of things, about Nia's father, about her struggles, about her fears regarding Dante. He bought a company for you. Sun-hee said finally. Do you know what that means? That he's impulsive? That he's serious. Dante doesn't make rash decisions. Every move he makes is calculated. Sun-hee poured more tea, which means he calculated that you're worth $2.3 million, plus whatever he spends restructuring the company, plus the time and energy he'll invest managing it properly. That's what scares me. Good. You should be scared. My son is intense. When he wants something, he doesn't stop until he has it. Sun-hee's eyes were kind but direct. The question is, do you want to be had? Sienna almost choked on her tea. Excuse me? I'm asking if you want to be pursued by someone like Dante, because he won't stop. He'll keep pushing, keep removing obstacles, keep building a life where you fit perfectly into his world. Sun-hee leaned forward. Some women would love that. Others would feel suffocated. Which are you? I don't know yet. The honesty felt important. Part of me loves that he sees me, that he cares enough to act. Part of me is terrified of losing myself in someone else's plans. Then tell him that. Dante respects honesty above everything else. He'll listen. Sun-hee smiled. He learned that from his father. My husband was also intense, also powerful, also determined to have exactly what he wanted. I told him on our third date that if he wanted me, he needed to slow down and let me keep my own identity. He did. We were married 42 years before he died. I'm sorry for your loss. Don't be. I had 4 decades with a man who saw me completely and loved me fiercely. That's more than most people get. Sun-hee stood. Now let me show you what I need for cleaning. And Sienna? Thank you for being patient with my son. He's been alone for a long time. You're good for him. They spent the next 3 hours establishing routines, preferences, and systems. Sun-hee was particular but reasonable, and Sienna found herself genuinely enjoying the work. Around 1, Dante came home early. How's it going? He appeared in the kitchen doorway, still in his business suit, looking unfairly attractive. Your mother is much easier to please than you warned me about, Sienna said. That's because she likes you. If she didn't, you'd know. Dante pulled off his jacket. Iyama, give us a minute? Sun-hee smiled knowingly and disappeared toward the bedroom. Dante crossed to Sienna immediately, his hands framing her face with gentle possession. Hi, he said softly. Hi yourself. She tried to sound stern. We need to discuss boundaries. I know, you're right. I shouldn't have bought the company without asking you first. His thumb stroked her cheeks. But I'm not sorry I did it, and I'd do it again, because Sienna, when I see a problem in your life, I fix it. That's who I am. But that's the issue. You can't just fix everything for me. I need to be independent, have agency, make your own choices. He nodded. I understand. So tell me, what are your boundaries? What do you need from me? The direct question surprised her. I need you to ask before making big decisions that affect me. I need to feel like a partner, not a project. Done. What else? I need you to slow down. This intensity it's a lot. How much slower? His voice was strained. Because Sienna, I've been slowly falling for you for 8 months. This isn't fast for me. This is me finally being honest about what I want. What do you want? You, in every way. In my life, in my home, in my bed, eventually. His eyes burned into hers. I want to wake up next to you. I want to take Nia to school. I want to build something real with you. Not fast, not slow, just real. Sienna's breath caught. That's terrifying. I know, I'm terrified too. His forehead touched hers. But I'm more afraid of not trying, of letting you walk away because I move too fast or push too hard. So tell me how to do this right. Tell me what you need. Time. I need time to catch up to where you are emotionally. You have it. As much as you need. His lips brushed her forehead. But I'm not backing off completely. I'm still going to send flowers. Still going to take you to dinner. Still going to fix problems when I see them. That's non-negotiable. Of course it is. But she was smiling. You're impossible. You keep saying that like it's a bad thing. He pulled back slightly. Have dinner with us tonight. You, me, my mother. Nothing fancy. Just food and conversation. Let my mother interrogate you more because she will absolutely do that. She already did, during tea. And she told me I'm good for you. Sienna's hands rested on his chest. Am I? Good for you. You're everything for me. The raw sincerity in his voice made her eyes sting. You make me want to be better, kinder, more patient. You make me believe in things I'd stopped believing in, like home, like family, like love that doesn't come with conditions. Dante. He kissed her. Soft and searching, a question more than a demand. Sienna's hands fisted in his shirt, pulling him closer despite every logical thought screaming that this was too much too soon. His arms wrapped around her waist, holding her like she was precious and breakable and essential all at once. When they broke apart, both breathing hard, Dante rested his forehead against hers again. Sorry, you said slow and I just... Don't apologize for that. Sienna's voice was shaky. That was good. Just good? His smile was devastating. Amazing, perfect. Everything I didn't know I needed. She stepped back before she could do something stupid like kiss him again. But we still need to take this slow. Slow, right. He didn't look convinced. Starting after tonight's dinner? Starting right now. But I just kissed you. And now we're slowing down. She tried to look stern and failed. That's how this works. Dante's laugh was warm and genuine. You're going to kill me with this slow thing. You'll survive. Sienna grabbed her cleaning supplies. Now let me finish work before your mother thinks we're doing inappropriate things in the kitchen. We are doing inappropriate things in the kitchen. One kiss is not inappropriate things. Want to make it inappropriate? His eyes sparkled with mischief. Dante Kim, I'm working. Fine. But tonight, after dinner, after my mother goes to bed... He stepped closer. I'm going to kiss you again. Properly this time. And you're going to let me because you want it as much as I do. Confident. Observant. His thumb brushed her lower lip. You kiss like you've been starving for touch, like nobody's made you feel wanted in years. And Sienna, I plan to spend however long it takes making you feel wanted every single day. Her breath caught. That's intense, I know, but true. He stepped back, gave her space. Now finish your work. I'll be in my office trying to focus on business instead of thinking about kissing you again. He was gone before she could respond, leaving her standing in his kitchen, lips still tingling, heart racing, and every logical thought completely scrambled by Dante Kim's particular brand of overwhelming devotion. Sunhee appeared in the doorway, smiling like she knew exactly what had just happened. He kissed you. Is it that obvious? Your lips are swollen and you look dazed. Also, I've known my son for 33 years. I know what he looks like after getting something he wants. Sunhee's expression turned knowing. The question is, did you want it to? Sienna touched her lips, thought about Dante's promise to make her feel wanted every day, and chose honesty. Yeah, I really did. Good. Then maybe you're both exactly what the other needs. Sunhee patted her shoulder. Now come. Show me how you organize the cleaning supplies. Dante told me you have a system that's apparently revolutionary. Sienna laughed and followed her, trying not to think about tonight's dinner or promised kisses, or the fact that she was falling completely, irrevocably, terrifyingly in love with Dante Kim. Trying and failing spectacularly. 3 weeks after that first kiss in Dante's kitchen, Sienna stood in her apartment bathroom staring at her reflection and wondering when her life had become unrecognizable. The woman looking back at her wore confidence like a new dress. Her skin glowed. Her eyes sparked with something that looked dangerously like happiness. She'd gained weight in the best way, no longer running on fumes and stress, actually eating regular meals that Dante insisted on providing. You look different, Mama. Nia appeared in the doorway, already dressed for school. Pretty different. I look the same. No, you look happy. That's different. Nia grinned. Is it because Dante's taking us to the beach this weekend? Maybe. Sienna turned from the mirror. Or maybe it's because my daughter got an A on her math test. Both. It's definitely both. Nia hugged her waist. I like him, Mama. I like how he makes you smile. The beach trip had been Dante's idea, a full day at Malibu, just the three of them. He'd rented a private section of beach because Nia deserves to play without crowds, and Sienna had stopped arguing about his extravagant gestures somewhere around week 2. She was learning to accept, learning to let someone care for her without immediately calculating the cost. Her phone buzzed. Dante, right on schedule. "Good morning, beautiful. Coffee's waiting downstairs. Driver will take Nia to school so you can come straight to the penthouse." She'd moved from contracted cleaner to something undefined but undeniable. Most mornings started at Dante's place. Sometimes she cleaned. More often, they had breakfast together while Sunhee told stories about Dante's childhood that made him blush and Sienna laugh until her sides hurt. "You're spoiling us. That's the plan. See you in 20 minutes?" 15. "Your mother wants to teach me how to make kimchi properly. She's adopting you." Fair warning. Sienna smiled, pocketed her phone, and herded Nia downstairs where a travel mug of perfect coffee waited in the Mercedes. The driver, Mr. Park, who'd become almost friendly over the weeks, handed it to her with a small bow. "Sajangnim said to make sure you drink it while it's hot. Tell him he's bossy." "I will not tell him that. I like my job." Mr. Park smiled. "But between us, you're good for him. He's different lately, lighter." The drive to Dante's penthouse felt routine now, normal. She'd stopped feeling out of place in the marble and glass tower, stopped apologizing for existing in spaces that cost more than her annual salary. Dante had systematically demolished every wall she'd built around herself, and the terrifying part was how much she'd helped him do it. Sunhee greeted her with warm enthusiasm and an apron. "Finally. Come, we're making 3 types today. Dante thinks he doesn't like the spicy one, but that's only because I've never made it correctly before. You'll help me fix that." They worked side by side for 2 hours, Sunhee teaching her the precise art of seasoning and fermentation while sharing stories about her marriage, her life in Seoul, her fears about Dante's dangerous world. "He's trying to go legitimate," Sunhee said quietly, hands deep in cabbage and spices. "For you, he's been selling off the questionable businesses, restructuring everything to be above board. Did you know that?" Sienna's hands stilled. "No, he didn't tell me. Because he doesn't want you to feel obligated. But Sienna, you should know. My son is changing his entire life because he wants to be worthy of you." Sunhee's eyes were serious. That kind of change is dangerous in his world. People don't like it when someone powerful starts shifting alliances, restructuring territory. Fear coiled in Sienna's stomach. Is he in danger? He's always in danger. That's the life he built. But now he's in danger while trying to dismantle that life, which is exponentially worse. Sunhee squeezed her hand, leaving kimchi paste everywhere. "I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because you deserve to know what he's risking for you." "I never asked him to." "I know, that's exactly why he's doing it." Sunhee smiled sadly. "Love makes us do impossible things. My husband left the Korean military's special forces because I couldn't live with the uncertainty. Dante's leaving his empire because you deserve better than a man with blood on his hands." Sienna's throat tightened. "Where is he?" "Meeting with some people who are very unhappy about his recent decisions. He should be back by noon." Sunhee returned to the kimchi. "Now, pay attention to the garlic ratio. This is the secret to perfect fermentation." But Sienna couldn't focus. Her hands moved automatically through the motions while her mind raced with implications. Dante was dismantling his empire. For her. Without telling her. Putting himself in danger because she'd made some comment about wanting a life that didn't involve looking over her shoulder. By 11:30, she was pacing. Sunhee watched with knowing eyes but said nothing. At 11:45, Sienna's phone rang. Unknown number. "Miss Carter?" A male voice, Korean accent, unfamiliar. "This is Min Yoongi. I work with Dante. There's been a situation." The world tilted. "What kind of situation?" "Nothing serious. But Dante asked me to call. He's handling some complications from this morning's meeting and will be delayed several hours. He wanted you to know he's safe but busy." Define safe. A pause. No one's been hurt. Dante's just managing expectations with some business partners who don't appreciate his new direction. It's all conversation, Miss Carter. No violence. Yet, Sienna heard herself say. Yet, Yoongi agreed, but Dante's very good at conversations. He'll be fine. He just didn't want you to worry. She was already worrying. Tell him to call me the second he's done. I will. And Ms. Carter? For what it's worth, I've worked with Dante for 8 years. I've never seen him this committed to changing. You're good for him. The line went dead. Sienna stared at her phone, then at Sunhee. He's in trouble. He's in negotiations. There's a difference. Sunhee's voice was calm. Dante knows what he's doing. Trust him. I do trust him. That's not the issue. Sienna grabbed her jacket. The issue is that he's risking everything for me, and I never asked for that. I never wanted him to blow up his entire life because I have some moral objections to... She stopped. I need to see him. You can't just walk into a business negotiation. Watch me. Sunhee's expression shifted from concerned to impressed. You know where he is. No, but I know someone who does. Sienna pulled out her phone, called Yoongi back. Tell me where Dante is, right now. Miss Carter, I really can't... Yes, you can, because I'm about to do something very stupid like call the police and report a possible hostage situation at whatever warehouse or restaurant or back room he's currently negotiating in. So you can either tell me where he is, or you can explain to Dante why cops showed up mid-conversation. Silence. Then, you're bluffing. Am I? You said yourself I'm good for him. Do you really want to test whether I'll blow up his negotiation to make sure he's safe? More silence. Then Yoongi rattled off an address in Koreatown. But Ms. Carter, if you go there, I'm going. Tell whoever's guarding the door to let me through or I'll make a scene they'll hear 3 blocks away. She hung up. Sunhee was smiling. My husband would have loved you. You have fire. She grabbed her own jacket. I'm coming too. Someone needs to make sure you don't get yourself killed. Mrs. Kim. Dante will forgive me for letting you storm into danger. He won't forgive me for not going with you. Sunhee headed for the door. Besides, I've been wanting to see what my son's business negotiations actually look like for years. This is educational. The address was a restaurant. High-end Korean barbecue, closed for private function according to the sign. 2 large men stood outside, Korean, built like walls, wearing expensive suits. They moved to block the door when Sienna approached. Private event, one said. I'm Sienna Carter. Yoongi called ahead. The men exchanged glances. One spoke into a wrist mic in Korean. After a tense moment, he nodded and opened the door. Inside, the restaurant was empty except for one large table in the back where 6 men sat in careful arrangement. Dante was at the head, perfect posture, expression carved from ice. Across from him sat an older Korean man who radiated menace like cologne. They were speaking rapid Korean, voices controlled but tension thick enough to choke on. Then Dante's eyes flicked to the entrance, to Sienna. Everything stopped. Sienna. Her name came out strangled. What are you doing here? Interrupting, apparently. She walked forward, ignoring Sunhee's warning hand on her arm. Sorry to crash your meeting, but we need to talk. The older man's eyes narrowed. This is the woman? The one you're destroying everything for? This conversation is over, Parksy. Dante stood, all deadly grace. We'll resume tomorrow. We'll resume now. Your girlfriend can wait. She's not my girlfriend. Dante's voice dropped to something dangerous. She's the woman I'm going to marry, which means she doesn't wait for anything, including you. Sienna's heart stopped. Marriage. He'd just told a room full of dangerous men that he planned to marry her. Park's expression shifted to something calculating. You'd marry outside your world? Start a family with someone who doesn't understand our ways? I'm starting a different life, one that doesn't require understanding your ways. Dante moved towards Sienna. Now, if you'll excuse me, what if we don't excuse you? Park's hand moved inside his jacket. Every man in the room tensed. Sienna's breath caught. This was it. The moment where Dante's 2 worlds collided violently. Then Sunhee stepped forward. Park Jae-sung, don't you dare. Her voice cracked like a whip. I knew your mother. She'd be ashamed of you threatening her friend's son over business disputes. Park's hand froze. Mrs. Kim, I didn't realize... Obviously, because if you'd realized I was here, you wouldn't be acting like a gangster in a bad movie. Sun-hee moved to stand beside Dante. My son is restructuring his life. If you were smart, you'd do the same. This life, she gestured around the tense room, ends badly for everyone. Dante's choosing something different. Let him go peacefully. And if we don't, Park's voice was hard, then you'll make an enemy of the Kim family, all of us, including the ones still in Seoul who control shipping routes you desperately need. Sun-hee's smile was pleasant and terrifying. Your choice, Park-si. Business as usual minus one partner, or war with a family that's been powerful since before you were born. The silence stretched. Finally, Park stood, bowed stiffly. We'll revisit this another time, when you're thinking more clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly, clearer than I have in 15 years. Dante's hand found Sienna's, and my answer won't change. I'm out. Find someone else to run your operations. Park and his men left without another word. The moment the door closed, Dante turned to Sienna. You shouldn't have come here. Probably not, but I had to. She squeezed his hand. Dante, you can't blow up your entire life for me. That's not fair to either of us. It's not about fair. It's about choosing what matters. He pulled her close. You matter more than any empire, more than any amount of power or money, more than anything I've built in the last 15 years. But walking away from that world, it's dangerous. Your mother told me. My mother talks too much. But his eyes were grateful when they met Sun-hee's. Though thank you for the backup. Someone has to keep you alive long enough to marry this woman. Sun-hee headed for the door. I'll wait in the car. You two figure out your future. Alone in the empty restaurant, Dante cupped Sienna's face. I meant what I said, about marrying you. That was your proposal? In front of gangsters? That was me stating facts. The actual proposal will be better, I promise. His thumb stroked her cheek. But Sienna, I need you to understand. I'm not giving up my world for you. I'm choosing a better world with you. There's a difference. What if it doesn't work? What if 3 months from now, you resent me for everything you lost? Impossible, because everything I'm gaining is worth infinitely more than what I'm leaving behind. He kissed her softly. I'm gaining you. Nia, a family, a life that doesn't require looking over my shoulder constantly, mornings with coffee and kimchi making, nights with the woman I love. That's not a sacrifice, Sienna. That's winning. You love me. She said it like discovery. Desperately, completely. Probably have since you first walked into my penthouse singing Aretha Franklin. His smile was devastating. I'm all in, Sienna. The question is, are you? She thought about her grandmother's wisdom, about taking risks, about how love was always terrifying but sometimes worth the fear, about this impossible man who'd seen through her invisibility and decided she was worth changing everything for. Yeah, she whispered, I'm all in too. Dante kissed her properly then, deep and claiming and full of promises. When they broke apart, he rested his forehead against hers. So when I actually propose, you'll say yes? Maybe, if it's a really good proposal. I'm talking rose petals, string quartet, the works. Nia's already designing the ring. Yes, I asked her permission. She said I needed to get you a sapphire because diamonds are boring and you deserve something unique. Sienna laughed through tears. You asked my 9-year-old for permission? She's the most important person in your life. Of course I asked. His hands framed her face. I want to do this right, Sienna. I want to marry you properly, adopt Nia if she'll let me, build a life where you never have to be invisible again. I was never invisible to you. No, you were the only thing I could see clearly. He kissed her forehead. Now let's get out of here before Park changes his mind and comes back with more men. Is that likely? Unlikely, but not impossible. My mother's threat was serious. The Kim family in Seoul actually does control shipping routes. Park won't risk that economic war. Dante took her hand. Still, let's not push our luck. They collected Sun-hee and drove back to the penthouse in comfortable silence. Nia was already there when they arrived, having been picked up early by Mr. Park, who'd apparently anticipated that Sienna would be otherwise occupied. Mama! Mrs. Kim taught me how to make hot ok. Nia bounced with excitement, then stopped, looking between Sienna and Dante's joined hands. Did something happen? Your mom interrupted a business meeting, Dante said seriously. Was it dangerous? Very. She was very brave. He crouched to Nia's level. Your mom came to make sure I was safe. Pretty cool, right? The coolest. Nia looked at Sienna with awe. You're like a superhero. Hardly. Sienna stopped. I just didn't want him hurt. Because you love him? Nia said it matter-of-factly. That's what people do when they love someone. They protect them. Out of the mouths of children came the most devastating truth. Sienna looked at Dante, saw his expression shift to something vulnerable and hopeful. Yeah, she said softly, because I love him. Nia cheered. Sunhee smiled knowingly, and Dante pulled Sienna into a kiss that tasted like promises and future and everything she'd stopped believing she deserved. That night, after Nia had fallen asleep on the penthouse couch and Sunhee had retired to the guest room, Sienna and Dante stood at the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Los Angeles. The city glittered beneath them like a kingdom, his former kingdom, now just a beautiful view. No regrets? She asked quietly. Not even one. His arms wrapped around her from behind. This, right here, with you. This is everything I've ever wanted. I just didn't know it until you walked into my life arranging cheap flowers and singing about being a natural woman. I still can't believe this is real sometimes. Believe it, because in about 3 months after I've properly proposed and you've said yes and we've planned the wedding, you're going to be Sienna Kim, and Nia's going to be Nia Kim if she wants, and we're going to build something real together. 3 months? Unless you want longer? I'm trying to be patient. Sienna laughed, turned in his arms. 3 months is perfect, though your mother will probably want to help plan everything. She's already planning, trust me. Dante kissed her nose. She's been waiting for grandchildren for years. She's not wasting any time. Grandchildren? We're not even married yet. Give it time. My mother's very persuasive. His expression turned serious. But truly, Sienna, is this okay? The pace, the changes, all of it? Because I can slow down if you need me to. She thought about the woman she'd been 3 weeks ago, invisible, exhausted, terrified. Then she thought about the woman she was becoming, seen, cherished, brave enough to interrupt dangerous negotiations because the man she loved might be in danger. It's more than okay. It's perfect. She pulled him down for a kiss. You're perfect. This is perfect. We're perfect together. Even though I'm bossy and intense and buy companies when you lose clients, especially because of that, though we're still working on boundaries. I'm trying. It's hard when I see problems I could fix. I know, but I need to fix some things myself. That's important to me. Then I'll step back when you ask, I promise. His hands settled on her. Waste. But I'm never stopping with the flowers, or the coffee, or the random texts telling you you're beautiful. Those are non-negotiable. I can live with that. She rested her head against his chest, listened to his heartbeat, and marveled at how far they'd come in such a short time, from invisible maid to cherished partner, from lonely crime boss to man building a legitimate life, from 2 broken people to something whole and healing and impossibly right. Hey, Dante. Thank you for seeing me, for making me believe I was worth seeing. His arms tightened. Thank you for letting me, for taking a chance on someone like me despite every reason not to. They stood there as the city lights flickered below, building a future from trust and love and the courage to believe that sometimes fairy tales came true, even for invisible maids and reformed crime bosses who found each other in a penthouse overlooking Los Angeles. Even for them, especially for them.